Well, welcome everybody. Good to see you all again. And
Mm.
let's see, how was your last week's meditation, Barley?
Oh, well, I keep trying to think about it every day, and whether or not I actually get into it, I keep trying to determine if my yoga asanas are meditation. I mean, I try to not think in the past or plan my grocery list in the future. So I'm trying to stay present and just focusing on the position that I'm in.
hmm
So I'm not thinking except for that position. Is that meditation or is it
Well,
still
that's
not?
certainly, if you're paying attention, which you ought to be doing, then it's meditation. And if you are, uh, while you're doing it, your attention is in feeling your body, which it pretty much has to be,
Yes,
then
okay.
that is doing some of the same thing with this default mental network that meditation halts, then yoga also ought to halt that same thing and give you the space and quiet. Is that your experience while you're doing the yoga? Is it a time of internal quiet?
Yes, I mean that's what I keep trying for. My mind wanders, and I have to bring it back. But I recognize that it's wandering.
Uh huh.
But I've done the same asanas for so long now that it's. Um, but I still listen to the person, giving the demonstrating
Mm-hmm.
and talking about it,
Mm-hmm.
to stretch your arms longer and things like that. So I'm thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Now,
still thinking. It's not thinking,
uh
which
huh.
is when you're breathing, you're almost like not thinking.
Well, there's also there can be a problem when you're doing something that is repetitive, because if it's repetitive and you're just doing it as a habit, then there is lots of room for your mind to wander. And
Yeah.
if you're doing it, paying attention actually in the moment, then your mind isn't wandering like that.
Well, it can do both,
Uh huh.
but sometimes it's funny because I hear what they're saying and I think, boy, I don't even remember hearing that before. It sounds different, but it's kind of fun.
Uh huh.
That's
Anyway, and
funny.
I think that's good because, as you know, I believe this mindfulness mental state is something that my own experience with it is that it just has kind of moved through much more of my life, and so it's not just something I do 15 minutes a day when I'm sitting down in my chair in my time.
Mhm. Yeah, find it in lots of places.
Uh-huh. Okay. Very good. How about you, Cheryl?
I don't think I meditated every day this week, but more days than not. And they've been pretty good, the days that I've managed to sit
Mm-hmm.
down and do it.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you're not meditating, what's going on? Just too busy or?
Yeah, leaving early in the morning for Guadalajara, just life,
Right,
just
right,
not able to sit until later in the day. And I find if I wait until later in the day and I sit down to meditate, that I fall asleep, which is probably
right.
not really useful.
Uh-huh. And certainly, they've heard about that in meditation. That's one of the reasons why some of these guys do not recommend laying down to meditate
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it's too easy to sleep. Now, when you do something like when you're going to Guadalajara, are you going as a driver or a passenger?
A passenger.
Because that still is, of course, a time you can meditate because you don't have anything else to do.
Mm.
Well, I feel obligated to entertain the driver, but
Okay, okay.
see
Yes,
how's I'm the ride.
yes, I understand. I understand.
Mm.
How about you, Doug?
Um, I had pretty good meditations. Yesterday I was waiting for a friend, and it occurred to me that you had mentioned that before. When if you're not doing anything, why not just go ahead and meditate? And it dawned on me, hey, that's right. So that's what my meditation yesterday consisted of, waiting for friends to show up.
Very good. You
So
know,
I'm going to keep, I'm going to keep that, or, try to keep that on my mind
mhm,
when I have opportunities like that.
right. It's a good thing to have in your bag of tricks.
Uh-huh.
And for me, when I do that, it makes the wait a lot more tolerable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it went back. Goes by pretty quick.
That's good. Anyway, I think congratulations, Doug. How about you, Carol?
Nothing much to report. I think we missed a couple days this week. I don't know. It seems like we didn't do it every day, but I do feel like when we meditate, it's getting deeper and it's getting more quiet generally. So I
Okay,
feel like it's progressing.
okay. That's very good. So I'm glad to hear it. Seems like you all are continuing to keep at it and you're doing well. Everybody has their own stuff they have to deal with, of course. That's part of the process. But anyway, good work, everybody. So why don't we get to all of our hard work for today? And mindfulness is present moment awareness, paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non judgmentally. Feel your breath in and out. Fully receive whatever is experienced, then let it go. All right. Now, I'm still going to continue with these Zen stories, a couple more stories today. And these are stories that I think illustrate the Zen approach to practice and I think to life. The first story is the name of it is Inch Time Foot Gym. And a lord asked Takawan, a Zen teacher, to suggest how he might pass the time. He felt his day was very long, attending his office and sitting stiffly to receive the homage of others. Takawan wrote 8 Chinese characters and gave them to the man. These are the characters that he wrote. Not twice this day, inch time, foot gym. By this he meant this day will not come again. Each minute is worth a priceless gem. Now, I like this story so much that I named my autobiography Inch Time Foot Gym. Probably nobody gets the title except for me, but that's okay. And I, I feel like each day is a gift. And the way to make best use of this gift is to merely open up and pay attention as it unfolds. Remembering the gift, being grateful for what you have been given, are ways to deepen your experience of your meditation and of your life. There are so many elements with our brain's neurochemistry that respond positively to regular feelings of gratitude. And there are some people whose meditation practice includes a few minutes of gratitude meditation each night at the end of the day. And it is a powerful thing to actually change how you feel about your life and how you approach each day. So, inch time, foot gym. The next story is about Joshu, who is a famous Chan Buddhist teacher. And Joshu began his study of Zen when he was 60 years old and continued to study until he was 80 when he realized Zen. And he taught from the age of 80 until he was 120, or so they say. A student once asked him, "If I haven't anything in my mind, what shall I do?" Joshu replied, "Throw it out." "But if I haven't anything, how do I throw it out?" continued the questioner. "Well," said Joshu, "then carry it out." What do you think Joshu is telling us here? I think there are 2 things. The first is how to approach meditation and your life. Your mind is full of opinions and ideas and desires, and these condition every moment, every action, and every experience. And meditation is the process of clearing all this out. And when you can do this, you are more directly in touch with yourself without all of these habits and conditioned responses. This puts you in the present moment and free from all of these ideas so you can encounter your life and your day freely just as it is. That's step one. And step two is to simply express what is there by words or thoughts or deeds. Trust yourself and the universe. Be willing to act based from your deepest knowledge. There's a similar story with Hotai, the laughing Buddha. He walked everywhere carrying a bag on a stick. Once he was asked, "What is the realization of Zen?" To answer, he dropped his bag and stick. Plop! Then he was asked, "What is the actualization of Zen?" He picked up his bag and stick and walked away. So now for a video, we're going to have a short guided meditation for gratitude.
Hello, and welcome to this quick guided meditation to slow down and be grateful. I'm Sarah Raymond with the Mindful Movement. I'm grateful you have joined me today. It is so easy to become swept up in the seemingly relentless demands of a busy life. In doing this, you might find that you lose focus on the present, or you might feel as though you don't have the time to stop and appreciate life's gifts. It is true that meditation is a practice, and it can create change when you make the time to practice it. But even when you are short on time, it is important to prioritize what matters most. You can always find time to be mindful, even if just for a few minutes. You might find that closing your eyes to tune out the outside world for a moment makes it easier to bring your awareness inside. So you may choose to close your eyes now. And let's begin this practice with some gentle breathing. Notice the rhythm of your natural breath. Take in a slow breath and experience the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Our breath is constant and reliable. It tethers us at all times to the present moment. Just by tuning in to the steady rhythm of your breath, you are immersing yourself in the energy of life, the energy that propels you forward and connects you to all other life on this planet. Observe whether your mind is in another place or if it is here right now. Can you allow yourself to let go of your thoughts for a moment? Can you allow your mind to be silent, except for hearing the sound of your breath? Now, notice where you are carrying tension in your body. Can you allow your clenching muscles to let go? Ask yourself, how do you feel in this very moment? Can you sense the peaceful energy of life flowing through you, invigorating you with every breath? You are the embodiment of this lively energy. Your body is a miracle and a gift, the vehicle through which you have the privilege of experiencing this beautiful world. Take a moment now to find something or someone to appreciate. Sense the feeling of gratitude within you. And send it outward to the world around you. In a moment, you will open your eyes and come out of this state of stillness and peace. But do your best to move forward with your day with a residual feeling of gratitude. As you continue on with your day, I challenge you to continue cultivating gratitude. Perhaps you can even find something positive out of an experience that seems negative at first. Now, we will end this practice with a deep breath, breathing in love and breathing out eternal appreciation. Thank you for practicing with me today. I am grateful that you did. I hope you have a joyful day.
All right. And now we are going to continue in this approach with our meditation. And breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Feel the air filling your lungs. Imagine that every inch of your body is lit up by that breath of air flowing through the blood, flowing through the body. Now travel with this flowing energy from your brain, from the top of your head down to the toes, and feel each area of the body loosen and relax as you breathe. Whisper to yourself, I am grateful. Now feel your whole body. Feel it all at once. And say to yourself, I am grateful for this body. I'm grateful for the gifts of this day. I'm grateful for the gift of life. I am grateful for the gift of awareness. I'm grateful for being able to meditate. I am grateful. All right. And we'll close with a chant. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om.
Om,
Peace, peace,
peace.
peace. All right. Any questions or comments today?
It was very relaxing, that last one.
Yeah. I wanted to follow up on something that Doug asked last time, and we didn't talk about it during the week, Richard, but the definition of Zen.
Yes,
And again, I don't think you looked it up, did you?
I didn't look it up.
But what I wanted
No,
to
I
point,
didn't.
I wanted to point out that something you read today said that they attained Zen, and that implies that Zen means enlightenment. And I hadn't sort of thought of it that way before, but
Again, it's my understanding of what Zen means. It really is a Japanese word for meditation. And I think when they're saying they attained Zen, I don't know. To me, it seems like a little loose use of language. One of the problems with this whole spiritual area is the vocabulary is not well developed for us to talk about this kind of internal stuff. What we're used to talking about and thinking about are basically these objects of consciousness, these objects of awareness. And what happens in meditation happens to the subject, not the object. And our language isn't so good at that.
Yeah, Zen is kind of a mystical word.
well, people say, "Oh, that's so Zen of you," which means just sort of spaced out and calm and.
Yeah.
But again, attaining Zen definitely sounds like it means enlightenment in that case.
That's, I'm not sure what it means in that particular story. It could be either attaining this internal state of peace,
Oh yeah, that could be.
and or it could be self-realization, because certainly this whole thing, the reason why these crazy Zen guys did all this meditation was with the objective of enlightenment. Now, I studied Buddhism for 25 years, and one of the things that they never told me was what is enlightenment anyway. And so, one kind of frustration I had with that teaching is that they would talk about these things and not tell you what it is. And it was like what they wanted was for you to discover it yourself. And what I've noticed myself is when I have one of these kind of discoveries myself, then, you know, there is, I don't know how to describe it, some kind of release of energy. There's something that is there in that moment of discovery and revelation. And it's funny because you come back later and think the same thing, and then it's no big deal. But when this time when you first have the realization, it often is a very big deal. But after that, it's, just kind of cold potatoes or something. Well,
Yeah, I think that's sort of why I ask you for a definition of Zen. I meant your definition of Zen. I did not want to look it up on Google because I didn't
uh-huh,
care what Google thought about
uh-huh,
Zen. It's just too,
right. Well,
yeah.
again, I haven't been able to figure out the definition either. As near as I can tell, it is about this meditation. And fortunately for us, we're not practicing Zen meditation because otherwise we'd have to be sitting there on the floor with our backs ramrod straight and dealing with all the physical discomfort. They don't talk about that as a part of Zen practice, but it absolutely is there. And
And
when we're,
isn't there like a guy monitoring it? And if you look like you're slumping, he comes and hits you with a stick or something? I think, right?
and I do know when we were in India at Ramanashram in the meditation hall, you could tell the people who were the Zen practitioners because they would be sitting there in the middle of the floor with their back very straight. Now, I have a theory
And their
about
fingers
that.
like this.
Yes, yes. I have a theory about that, and it turns out that I think, as we've talked about a little bit, stress actually increases the kind of neurotransmitter in your brain that creates focus and then acts to change your brain in the nightly neuroplasticity cycle that you go through every night as you sleep, where your brain is building up the circuits that it used the most that day. And my theory is the unpleasantness of sitting in that position for the Zen practitioner increases their stress, and maybe that actually makes the change from the process go faster. I haven't tested that theory myself, so it's still just an idea.
A good
Any?
friend of mine, or do we still have time?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Oh, a good friend of mine back in the early 70s. Um, he took a class, a meditation class. There was this Maharishi Mahesh
Uh-huh.
who became famous because he was the Beatles
Beetle.
guru.
Right. Yes.
And so he started these meditation centers all around the United States. Anyway, and my friend Charlie, he paid several $100s in order to learn how to meditate. And they had this mantra,
Yes.
which was a word that you concentrated on this word
Yes.
to meditate. And his instructor told him his mantra. And he said, and it's a secret word now.
Yes.
Don't tell anybody
Yes.
what the word is, because that is your mantra. That is your. So I used to try to mess with him. Come on, tell me your mantra. Come on, what is it? Just think of it, and I'll try to read in your mind.
So Doug, I took that's transcendental meditation. That's the name of that kind. And
It's what?
Transcendental meditation.
That's right. Yeah, that's
And
what that was.
I
Yeah.
took that in the early days, and at that point, I think in 1972 or three, it cost $100 to do it, and I know
100,
now
yeah.
it's thousands of dollars. But so I remember that exact thing, and they tell you your secret mantra, and my theory is that it's the same mantra for everybody, and you could save your thousands of dollars, but because it's supposed to be secret, no one will tell you.
And in India, there's long been a form of meditation practice called japa, which is basically done with sound, with short mantras, with things like this. And the idea of japa is you are saying whatever it is that you're saying and you're focusing on it entirely. So you use uh, that word as the meditative focus, like we're using here breath for the meditative focus. And then with japa, then as the practice gets deeper than instead of saying the word out loud, you say it internally and still maintain the same focus. And there are some people who practice that very successfully and are happy. Now, the transcendental meditation guys, they are one of the leaders in using these brain MRI studies of their meditators because they use that basically now in their marketing package. We can show you the changes that will happen to you. Just give us your $100 and we'll give you the secret.
Yeah,
Oh,
and the thing about those mantras is that I believe they're Sanskrit words, and
Right.
the Sanskrit language is really interesting because supposedly all of the sounds in it are connected to some kind of vibration in the universe. So it's like all of the sounds of Sanskrit are like special, and that's the reason why you would use a Sanskrit mantra. And by the way, the mantra that I got in 1973 was, I believe it was A-I-Ma. So there you go. You're welcome.
Okay. Very good.
$100 mantra.
That's right.
Now, also, I think part of the deal with Sanskrit is they thought the vibrations were also connected to different chakras, so that you would get different energy centers in your body going with different mantras. And of course, they had all of this stuff developed fairly highly, and where our scientists try to figure out how to use this new technology to make some new toy or something like that, they tried to use all of their mental skills to figure out how to live a happy life. What kind of radical guys are these anyway? Anyway, very good. Good to see you all. And
Thank you.
we'll see you next week. And I still have yet one more episode of Zen Stories, and then we'll continue doing something else. And I hope they're still okay.
That's fine with me.
Okay,
All
good.
right, thank you, Richard.
Okay.
Okay,
Good seeing you all.
Thank you.
good to see
Thank
you
you.
too. Bye bye.
Bye.
Namaste.